Okay, here we go. This is just two folders that are open on my desktop, and the one on the right is the Darkroom X Drive. Okay, so when Darkroom, if you've used Darkroom Booth very much, you know that when Darkroom Booth is running, it creates a second drive on your computer that's called Drive X. Now, it's not mysterious, it's not voodoo, it's not magic, it's just simply a shortcut to where all the files are located, which is a place on your hard drive, your C drive. And we just put that shortcut in there to make it simple and easy to get to. So first of all, you want to start Darkroom Booth, and then you want to go to Darkroom Booth and create or actually locate your X drive. You'll look right here. You can see where I'm pointing, the Darkroom X drive. When you do, you'll see all of these folders. Now, it's very important that you don't delete anything accidentally. You don't mess with any of these folders. Don't rename them. Don't do anything like that. But what I want you to do is create one called SharedMedia. SharedMedia. No spaces or anything. One word, just SharedMedia. I've capitalized the share or the S and the M, but it's not required. You can just put SharedMedia. Okay, now once you do that, then inside of that, you can create any folders that you want for your own organization. Okay, it's important that once you create those, they stay the same. You don't change them. Now, I've created several on here because I'm going to give you two examples. One, a 2x6 normal event, and one, a 4x6 green screen background with a graphics list. Okay, so two different examples. So I've created these different backgrounds, or these different folders within SharedMedia. The first one you'll see right here is a 2x6 background. That folder is called 2x6 background. Again, I've just created all these subfolders for organizational purposes. They're not necessarily required, but they can make things a little easier. So a 2x6 background. Now inside that 2x6 background is a 2x6 graphic that I'm going to use for the background of my photo strip. Okay, now then let's go back up, and then I've got one called 2x6 overlay. So 2x6 overlay, and 2x6 overlay right there is the overlay that's going to go on that same photo strip. Then I've got down here a folder called screen background. So I've got a background for the screen template for that specific event. And then I've also got an overlay for that specific event. Now, you'll also notice that they're named, in this case, 001, and I've got this one called 002. It's very important that you keep the names consistent. So if you're going to replace that 001.jpg with a different background for a future event, it needs to be named exactly the same thing. So you want to keep them consistent. They can be named anything, they just need to be consistent. So that's why I chose 001, 002, 003, etc. All right, once we do all of that, then we're going to start with adding our various graphics, and you can see I've already put graphics in these different folders. Okay, now then let's go to Darkroom Booth. I'm going to pull it up right here, and you'll see I've already got my screen template made. And if I click over here, you'll see that I've already got my print template made. So let's start with our print template, and I'll show you how to make that. Now, let's see, here's my print template. So there's my print template. And you'll see I've got my photos added in there, the specific spots that I want them. And then I have over here on the right in the template items, I've got my graphic for my background. Now this is where what makes this work. Darkroom Booth normally embeds graphics in the template. This is a feature that we designed into the software from the very beginning to make it simple to transfer images and things from one computer to another. So everything is compiled, packaged, if you will, all up in that single template file, and that makes it easy to transfer. But as I mentioned earlier, if you're used to using other software that requires you to do that in different folders and things and drop things in different folders, you can do Darkroom Booth that way. So in this case, what I've done is clicked on Browse, and I've navigated to the X drive. Okay, so you just click on this PC, choose the X drive, and then I want to go to that shared media folder, and then in my 2x6 background I select the background, And then once I've done that, then I add my overlay the same way, and you'll notice it says right here under the location X shared media 2x6 overlay and then 002 PNG. Basically the way this works is any graphics or media that are placed inside the folder called shared media are not embedded. Okay, Darkroom doesn't package those up in the template. The idea being that if you have let's say a video that you want to play before the start of every session for every template you do, instead of wasting a lot of disk space by putting that same video in 20 different templates, you could just put it in that one location and it would just reference it and not embed it. So that's the whole idea behind it. But what this does for you in this case is it allows you to put templates in here that can be changed later to change the entire look of your event without having to go back in and open the template and change the template. So that's what we're going to do. Now, once that's all done and I've created my print template, then I'm going to exit out of that and I'm going to go back to my screen template. And we're going to do the screen template the same way. So if you go in this screen template, you'll see here that under graphic, I've gone to the X drive, shared media, screen background, and added 003.jpg. Again, the folders, subfolders under screen shared media are simply for your own organization. You can arrange those any way you like. So once I get that all in there, then I create my screen template with all the other elements like I want it. The main thing you got to keep in mind here is you want to be able to use graphics that are going to allow your start buttons and things and your live view and everything to be consistently in the same place, because you're not going to be changing those every time. You're just going to be changing the graphics and everything. All right, so once that's done, I've got my complete event done. I'm going to run a session so that you can see how this works. So here's my my screen. There's my simulated live view and everything. I'm going to come up here and click on my start button, and you're going to see the 3, 2, 1 countdown. You can set all the colors and everything on those as well. And then it takes a photo and puts it over there in the little preview window. And then we take another photo, and of course I'm using a simulated live view, so all the photos are just exactly alike. But there we go, and now that session is done. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to exit out of this session. I'm going to jump over here, and you're going to see that there's my photo strip showing my backgrounds and everything, just like I created it. Now, here's where the fun begins. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize Darkroom. I'm going to go over here to set number 2, where I've got new graphics. I'm going to start with my background, and I'm going to copy it over here to background and let it replace it. I'm going to do the same thing with the overlay for the print template, and I'm going to let it replace that. And then I'm going to do my screen background and replace that, and then my screen overlay that I'm using and replace that. Now then, we're going to go back to Darkroom Booth, and without changing an event, I'm going to run another session, and now you'll see totally different colors. It's completely different graphic and everything. So let's run a session now. So I start. We get ready. 3, 2, 1. And there's photo 1. And then we go 3, 2, 1. And there's photo 2. And then 3, 2, 1. And there's photo 3. Okay. Now then, let's exit out and go back over here. And you'll see now totally different screen and print template just simply by copying those over to that folder. Now let's try that with a green screen background. Okay, so I've set up right here a pre-set up event, and I'm going to load this right here and kind of give you an overview of how this one was done. This one has a background that's Christmas themed. All of these are kind of Christmas themed. And then I've got 3 different buttons. These are previews of the backgrounds. And when you select a button, it changes the background, just like any other green screen graphics list. So if I double click here, you'll see here that this is a background on the screen template, and it's the same way, shared media, okay, and all of that's in there. And then we've got our graphics list for the live view right here that's also X shared media. Okay, so again, you're going to just put all your graphics in that shared media folder and then go from there. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to exit out of this and run a session so you can see. But I'm going to change over to okay, so here's my green screen background with my graphics list, and you can see Bill there and his cousin. And when I click on this, you'll see it change the backgrounds. So those are buttons that are just changing the background, and your background changes. So let's run a session now and see what happens. Okay, 3, 2, 1, takes a photo, and that session's done. So I'm going to exit out. And I'm going to go over here to the print section, and you'll see there's my my photo with the background and everything like that. Now then, I'm going to drop out of that, and I'm going to change. If you look right here, I've got set number, green screen set number 2. And here's my 4x6 green screen folder. These are the backgrounds for the other set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those. Copy them over, and I'm going to let them replace. Okay, so now I got new backgrounds and everything, and we're going to load Darkroom Booth back up and run another session. And now I got totally different backgrounds. And you can select whichever one you want, and let's run a session here. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, and it takes a picture. And now I'm going to exit out and go back over here, and now you'll see different backgrounds completely. And all I did was copy those to the folder. So if you look back in here in this screen template, now this is just a standard green screen setup. If you've ever done a graphics list, it works the same way. All we're doing is just referencing everything from that shared media folder instead of from, a random folder that gets embedded. So shared media folder does not get embedded. All right, let's go back and let's do it again so you'll see, so I can switch back. So if I go back to my other set, this is the green background set, I'll call it. Copy those over, let them replace. You'll notice that they're all consistent size and they're all consistent naming. I've got 001, 002, etc. They can be either JPEGs or PNGs, but they need to be consistent. So if you use 001 PNG on one set, it has to be a PNG on the other set. So Darkroom is looking for the correct file. If you changed it to a PNG, even though it was named 001, it wouldn't pick that up. So it's got to be named the same. So now I've changed those. Let's go back over here to Darkroom Booth, run another session, and you'll see here everything's changed again. So just by copying those in and out of that folder, I can change the whole background. Now, in doing that, you can again name your folders underneath here in the X drive. You can name one whatever you want. You could have a setup for green screen. You could have a setup for the 2x6, 4x6, various sizes that you wanted to do. Excuse me. Those kinds of things are all things that you could just use for your organizational purposes. And you can line them up any way you like. You could have logos and things like that. The main thing you got to remember is the graphics need to be consistent in size. So if you have a graphic that's formatted for a 4x6, but you copy it into an event that's set up for a 2x6, that's not going to work. If you have a logo that's supposed to appear 1-inch square on your template, and you put a logo file in there that's set to be 6 inches square, that's not going to work. So you just want to be consistent with how everything works and how you set it all up, and then that will keep everything consistent. So I'm going to switch over to a PowerPoint now and kind of give you a little rundown here of all of the various aspects one more time so you can see it in an outline form. So to start with, you want to start by creating a folder on the X drive called Shared Media. It's okay, it's got to be spelled just like that. You can, capitalization is not important, but Shared Media, no spaces. So Shared Media. The next thing you want to do is you can add any subfolders inside that Shared Media that you want for your organization purposes. So whatever size, if you want to call it 2x6, screen or background or whatever, or you just want to put them all like I did the green screen one where the screen and the print and everything were all in the same folder. As long as you're consistent, doesn't matter. Okay, next thing is you want to create screen and print templates for the size that you plan to use. So you want to make, the ones for 2x6 need to be 2x6. The ones for 4x6 need to be 4x6. They all need to be consistently sized. So when you change those graphics, everything is consistently sized. All right, next, I already said that. Be consistent with graphic size and orientation. Okay, so if your graphic is a vertical, in your setup first time, and then you copy in a horizontal graphic, that's not going to work. So size and orientation needs to be very consistent. The last thing is you want to be consistent with the file naming. Now in my example, I used 001, 002, 003. To me, that's consistent, easy to remember, easy to make sure you got them in the right order, those kinds of things. If you name, something like green background with red Christmas tree, then that's going to be harder to make sure everything is consistent and may not function correctly. So the key is consistency. All right. I think that's everything. If you have any questions, of course, you can give us a call. But this particular thing you're not going to find it anywhere else. This is a bonus. This is a shh, don't tell anybody. This is one of those things that Darkroom can do that nobody knows. Okay. So there you go. You can use that any way you'd like. I hope you got something from this, and I look forward to seeing you again at the next Facebook Live video.